I have an order to buy above the high of this bull bar. We have consecutive climaxes down, and even within the last two bars, we have climax, pullback with this big tail, and then a final climax. So I think this bull reversal up is strong enough that it could lead to a decent sized move up. Normally I look for the high of the sell climax, the high of the most recent sell climax, but in this case that would be here technically. So I don't think that's a valid target here. I think it might be up here for the high of the sell climax. It's also we're also outside down on the weekly chart, so it could be the low of last week, which on the SPY is 339.45 up here. So that could be a reasonable target, which kind of coincides with the high of the sell climax up here. So that might be a good target. And my stop is a measured move down, just in case we get one more leg down. It's a measured move from the bull signal. Yeah, I just got triggered on my buy. I'm gonna look to take half off at, well, I have 5 shares, so I'm looking to take 3 shares off at the high of the sell climax, just below it, which is also around about 50 cents below last week's low. Then I'll see if we get a really strong move through that. I'll see what to do with those next 2 shares. I'm out 3 shares there, and the last 2, I'll see what we get. Not sure how much higher we go above the sell climax, but in this case the sell climax was a lot closer than normal. So I'll see how the bar closes and then decide what to do with it. At this point, I'm just going to look to get out, break even on those 2 shares above the signal bar, and then wait for a buy signal to buy above. So then if this bar closes on its high, I'll buy again above it. But right now I'm pretty much just waiting for a signal for the second leg. So I might as well do it from a flat position rather than just hope it happens. Because I wasn't expecting this pullback, I was just trading the first leg up. I didn't want to wait for a second leg and then I didn't want to wait for first leg pullback and then second leg. I was just trading the first leg. So it looks like the first leg is done and we're trying to form a high 1 or high 2. So if this bar closes on its high, it's a valid buy above and I'll buy again. So I'm out now. Made $4. And now I'll buy above this bar if it closes on its high, but I think I need it to stay below the prior bar. So let's see if it does that. I think it would be a credible buy if it stays below the prior bar and closes on its high. Okay, so I did put a buy order in above this bull bar. Stop below here. Looking for that second leg up now. I think that's a reasonable trade. We'll see what we get. I think we should get up to last week's low, which again is at 339.45. So I'm hoping the second leg can get us there before stopping me out. I only traded half size above that so that I could buy the other half above a second entry. So if we do get a second entry buy, I can buy 3 more shares above that. I'm going to add 2 more shares above that bull bar. So now I'd be in my full size. And I'm doing that because we had 2 legs down. Not a perfect signal bar, but bottoming tail. I considered that one. And now we have a bull bar closing at its high. So I think that increases the chances that we get the second leg and at least get to last week's low. So I'm long 2 more shares now, so a total of 8 shares. Had I bought above this bar down here, I would have been able to buy 6 more because it was closer to my stop. But because I waited, I was only able to add 2 more shares. But now I'm hoping for a strong close above here. I think I might take half off at yesterday's low, half off at last week's low, and leave the other half to see if we get a strong close above this high. we're at my first entry at the high one, so I hope that's not just people exiting there, break even, and then we sell off again. But I think the setup is reasonable. I've been getting a lot of good feedback recently. Obviously, I'm posting older trades, so I'm a bit behind on the trades, but the advice I've been getting is really good. And a few things. One is that I need to limit my limit orders, so take less limit orders. And two is, and I think the second one is combined, is kind of, it follows from the first. And the second one is that I shouldn't take trades where after the trade I would look back and say that was really stupid. Like, why did I do that? And not like, oh, I entered on a stop entry, but there was a 5 cent tail instead of a 3 cent tail. Not like that, because that one you could say, well, you know what, it looked good at the time, I'm okay with it. So not those kinds of dumb trades. But if I look at it and I'm like, oh my god, what was I thinking? That's the dumbest trade I could have taken. If I think that I'm gonna say that at the end of the trade, if it loses, I should just avoid it. And I mentioned a few trades ago, making my priority to not take full losses, but it's also that doesn't mean frantically exiting trades so I don't take a loss. It means not even entering the trade in the first place if I think the loss is going to be, if I'm going to regret the loss. Whereas this trade here, it may not work out, but I won't regret it. It'll be a full loss, $25, but I won't regret the trade. And I think if I can stick to trades like that, where win or lose, if I'm happy with the outcome, I think that's a good step forward. I'm going to look to take half off at the high, at the prior high, because that would qualify as a second leg up. And then I'll leave the other half to see if we break strongly above. So technically now we do have 2 legs up, and that's a bear bar. I don't know if it's just testing this bad buy signal, or if it's a valid exit because we have 2 legs up. That's a tough call. And is it disappointing enough for me to look to exit break even? I don't think there's anything wrong with getting out break even. I don't know. Now, if this bar closes on its low, it would be 2 legs up and then a breakout pullback. So I'd exit below that. But right now it looks like it's impulse pullback, first leg pullback, and then second leg is a breakout pullback buy. So it looks like it was just testing the bad buy signal, created a bull signal bar. So if we get a bull follow through bar here, or a good entry bar, that would increase the chances that this is just a breakout pullback buy. I got filled on my 4 shares there. We had a breakout and follow through with the bull body, so I wanted to give it some time to see what we get. But we also have 3 pushes up now, so it's 2 legs up, and then on the second leg up we have 1 pullback, 2 pullback, 3. So depending on what we do on this bar, I might exit just at the market. I have my stop at break even just because I don't want to risk a collapse after 2 legs up. So 2 main legs up, and then even within here we have 2 legs, and this is the 3rd leg actually. So I don't want to risk losing all my profits on a collapse. But if this bar doesn't look great, like a big bull bar closing up here, or at least closing on its high, then I might just exit at the market because of the 3 pushes. I just sold 2 shares there at the market because the second leg up now has 3 pushes, 1 pullback, 2 pullback, 3, and I was hoping after the bull follow through, the bull body here, I was actually hoping for a strong breakout to the upside. Instead we just got 2 dojis in a row, so hesitating a little bit, and wasn't looking as perfect as I wanted it to, especially because we're stalling at last week's low. So took off 2 more, so now I've limited my risk to 2 shares. Only have 2 shares open, and I'm gonna exit $1 below even this bar because of the 3 pushes up. So just gonna move my stop up $1 below each bar. Gonna exit below that bear bar, two legs up, reversing off of your last week's low, and a bear signal bar. So I think it's reasonable to exit below there. Just got out of my last two shares below that bear bar. So up 1090. Happy with that trade. I think just consider it all one trade because I was gonna hold this for the swing anyways, but I exited here waiting for the bull bar. So it's all part of the same trade. And like my longest trade ever, I think it was like 2 hours long. And it's hard to constantly analyze and make decisions being in a trade for that long. But I think overall, I traded it well. I think all my entries were reasonable. If you guys see anything that you think I could have done better, or in terms of my entry, exit, or management, let me know. But I think this is a reasonable trade, and I like my entries here.